Richard Brennan thought his upscale diner in small-town Iowa made him untouchable. He thought he could humiliate struggling families without consequence. He thought no one would dare challenge him in front of his regular customers. He was wrong. Fatally wrong. What he did to Amanda Richardson and her 5-year-old daughter Emma in that diner would haunt him forever, not because of what he did, but because of who was sitting 3 tables away. Someone who knew that pain. Someone who had lost everything. Someone with nothing left to lose but everything to give. And when Jake Morrison saw what was happening, something broke inside him, something that had been holding back 14 months of rage and grief. This is what happened next. Mike's family diner on a cold, gray November evening. Rain streaking windows as darkness fell outside at 6:47 p.m. Warm yellow lighting from old fixtures reflecting off worn red vinyl booths and checkered linoleum floor. Smell of coffee and fried food mixing with wet coats. Local news playing quietly on mounted TV showing weather forecasts. Handful of evening customers finishing dinner in the atmosphere of small-town middle America struggling through another recession. Amanda Richardson stood near the hostess stand, a thin, exhausted woman in gray hoodie, trying to count out crumpled dollar bills and quarters with shaking hands. She hadn't slept in days, hadn't eaten, could barely stand. But she had to keep going. For Emma, 5-year-old Emma stood next to her mother, clutching her worn stuffed elephant, small face showing confusion and growing fear. The child didn't understand why they couldn't go home anymore. Didn't understand why Daddy wasn't coming back. Didn't understand why Mommy cried in the car every night. All she knew was hunger and fear and the desperate wish that someone would help. Amanda was trying to see if she had enough money for one kid's meal they could split. Her hands shook. Her eyes were hollow. This was her last hope, her last attempt to keep Emma fed, to keep them both alive. She didn't know that in 30 seconds, her life would change forever, but not in the way she hoped. That's when Richard Brennan noticed her. His expression changed when he saw weakness. His lip curled, his eyes narrowed with disgust. He didn't see a grieving widow. He didn't see a starving child. He saw entertainment. He saw someone beneath him, someone he could hurt without consequence. He walked over with deliberate steps, his expensive shoes clicking on the linoleum. He looked them up and down with visible disgust. He waved dismissively at Amanda's money. Then he said it loud enough for everyone to hear, that they smelled like they'd been living in a car, that they were bringing down his establishment's reputation, that he wouldn't serve them. He refused to let them even use the bathroom to clean up. And when Emma asked in her small voice if they could please just have water, he called them disgusting. Amanda fell to her knees. Emma started crying, dropping Peanut the elephant. The crumpled bills scattered across the floor. Her last few dollars. Her last hope. Gone. Richard laughed. Actually laughed. He made a shooing gesture like they were stray dogs. The people in the diner watched. Some looked away in shame. Others suddenly found their phones fascinating. No one helped. This is America in 2025. We film everything. We help no one. That's when Emma looked up at her mother's devastated face and asked the question that would change everything. Through her tears, she asked why they had to sleep in the car. Asked if they'd ever go home. Asked if Daddy was coming back. And 3 tables away, someone heard. Someone who understood that pain. Someone who had been there. Amanda couldn't answer. Couldn't speak. Could only hold her daughter and sob in the middle of that Iowa diner. Emma didn't understand why Mommy was crying so hard. Didn't understand why that mean man hurt them. Just wanted her real bed back. Wanted Daddy. Wanted to not be hungry anymore. In that moment, Amanda felt completely alone in America. Like God had forgotten her. Like no one in this entire country cared if she and Emma lived or died. Like all those people filming on their phones would rather get likes than lift a finger to help. She had never felt so helpless, so broken, so utterly destroyed. But she was wrong about being alone, because someone did care, and he was already standing up from his table. If watching this injustice breaks your heart, if you believe no child in America should ever have to beg for help, please like this video and subscribe, because what happens next will restore your faith that good people still exist in this country. Jake Morrison had been sitting 3 tables away, finishing coffee after his construction shift. He had seen everything. Every cruel word, every mocking laugh, every tear on that child's face. And it hit him like a punch to the chest, because 14 months ago, he had lost his wife Sarah to ovarian cancer. He had held her hand as she took her last breath, and felt that same helplessness, that same rage at a world that didn't care, that same desperate wish that anyone would have helped them when they needed it most. He looked down at the engagement ring hanging on the chain around his neck. Sarah's face smiled back at him from his memory. If someone had helped her, if someone had given a damn, maybe she'd still be alive. Maybe their daughter, Lily, would still have a mother. He couldn't save her, but he could save them. His work boots scraped against the linoleum as he stood. The atmosphere shifted. People's conversations stopped. Richard was still laughing, still mocking, still completely unaware that he'd just made the biggest mistake of his life. Until Jake's shadow fell over him, and suddenly the entire diner went dead silent. Richard turned, and his arrogant smile died instantly, because he recognized Jake, not personally, but he recognized the type, the calloused hands, the work-worn clothes, the 1,000-yard stare, the visible grief. The kind of man who'd lost everything. The kind of man who had nothing left to lose. The most dangerous kind. Richard's face went white. Then gray. His hands started shaking, because bullies know. They always know when they've finally picked the wrong target. Jake bent down and picked up Amanda's scattered money. His eyes held 14 months of grief, of rage, of pain, all focused on this one coward who thought wealth made him untouchable. Richard stumbled backward, his voice cracking as he tried to speak, sweat appearing on his forehead. Everyone in the diner was watching now. Phones out, recording, finally paying attention. Jake pointed to the door without saying a word. The message was crystal clear to everyone watching. Leave, now, before this ends badly for you. Richard ran. Literally stumbled out the door like his life depended on it. And as he did, Jake knelt down in front of Amanda and Emma and did something that broke everyone watching, something none of them would ever forget. Jake helped Amanda to her feet gently. He picked up little Emma's stuffed elephant and handed it back to her. But what happened next was what made Amanda start crying again, this time not from despair, but from complete shock. Jake pulled out his wallet and showed Amanda the one photo inside. His wife Sarah, his own daughter Lily, who was just a year older than Emma. He told her through the tightness in his throat that he understood, that he'd lost his wife, that Sarah died 14 months ago and he raised Lily alone now, that his wife would haunt him if he didn't help, that nobody helped them when Sarah was dying and he couldn't let that happen to someone else. He pulled out his entire week's paycheck in cash over $600. He told her it was enough for a motel room for a month, that his construction company was hiring for office work, that Sarah would want him to do this, that his daughter needed a friend like Emma. Emma looked up at him with those big brown eyes, and she asked in her innocent voice if he was an angel that her daddy sent from heaven, if he could help Mommy stop crying. Jake's eyes filled with tears. The first tears he'd cried since Sarah's funeral 14 months ago, because this child reminded him of his own daughter. This broken family reminded him of his own shattered life. And in that moment, something shifted, for all of them, because Jake realized something his therapist had been trying to tell him for over a year. Helping them was helping him heal too. 6 months later, Amanda worked as the office manager at Jake's construction company. Emma and Lily were inseparable best friends who had sleepovers every weekend. They had Sunday dinners together. Two broken families who found each other in the darkest moment and became something new. Amanda smiled again for the first time since Marcus died. Emma laughed again and called Jake Uncle Jake. And Jake, he found something he thought died with Sarah: purpose. Because sometimes the people we save are the ones who save us back. Sometimes the family we choose matters more than the family we lost. And sometimes, in a country that feels more divided and cold every day, one moment of courage in a small-town Iowa diner can change 3 lives forever. Can remind us that Americans still help Americans. That good people still exist in small towns and big cities. That we're not as alone as we think. What would you have done if you witnessed this injustice in your local diner? Would you have looked away like everyone else, or would you have stood up? Comment below and share this story with someone who needs to believe that everyday heroes still exist in America.